Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. Yeah. So far, this is the deepest adventure I've taken into this bike so far. That's what a TT600 looks like without fairings on and with no airbox. My goal today was just take off the fairings, getting late in the day to do anything now, but I just wanted to give it a quick visual inspection. But it looks like I'm probably going to be down for the week. Interesting bike. I'll give you some close-ups here. There's the IACV valve. I can't really see really good, but it's these little boot caps here. Looking for cracks on them. So if they have cracks on them, maybe the hoses themselves are, gunked up. You never know. There's the airbox. The airbox are just kind of sitting in there, so it's I'm going to clean this thing out. While I have it apart, I might as well take my time, do it right, and clean all that stuff out. Got the fairings off. Gotta be very gentle with the fairings. So I'll show you what my goal is going to be. First off, let's have a look at these throttle bodies. They don't look too bad. I'm gonna give them a see. Everything snaps back there, so that's good. You can see there's a little bit of dirt there. Doesn't look like anything's backfiring through the carbs. I pulled one of these out earlier. It's hard to do one hand. Come on. Look a little corroded in there, so I'm going to have to clean that out. All the way down there, I don't know if you guys can see down in there, but way down in there, probably too close. There's a spark plug down in there. I can't really get the angle for it, but it's like way down there. It's pretty messy down there, so I want to clean that up too. This is the stuff I was hoping to do in the winter, but I just didn't get a chance to do. So it looks like the punishment is going to be you have to do it during the riding season. I can't really see the head gasket. There's a little bit of corrosion, or what do you call it, seeping on the head gasket. Nothing abnormal, just kind of old bikeage usage. Everything else looks good down here. Look at the gunk coming from my shifter. I guess that seal, I don't know what well, you'd have to obviously disassemble a lot of stuff to be able to replace that seal. So I can live with that, but you can see how gunked up it is. I'm not going to just kind of semi-clean my hands, so I don't want to gunk that up too much. I don't know what this is for. I'll have to track everything back. IACV valve right here where my hand is. Hopefully you guys can see that fairly well. I'm going to have to cover up these hoses for tonight. Maybe I'll just put the airbox back on. Look at this for a nice connector, okay? Really nice connector. Wow, why don't they put all the connectors on that? I can't take the tank off because that connector there, it's pretty fragile. I just cannot get it to come off. I push it. You need 4 hands to do it, and there's not enough room for 1 hand. But the fuel things came off very easy. The O-rings on that look good. A little bit of fuel leaked out. The tank will leak out of the red one. So I had to siphon it out, as much gas out of there as possible, so I'm not, dripping all the gas on the ground. But yeah, I'm going to do a bit of a cleanup job. I'm going to check each one of these hoses tomorrow. Maybe I can get it from the other. It's starting to get too dark already to work on it. So there's the IACV valve, and you got 1, 2, 3 of these hoses. They all have little ends like this. This goes into the airbox. I'm going to have to get my tape out, mark things so I don't put anything back together. If you take anything apart, it's a good idea to take photos, but also just mark things a little. I'll show you what I mean. For example, where's the signal light doodadders? I'll show you on the other side. It's easier to see. You see, I put a little bit of tape on one connector. Oh, they are color coded, but it was hard to see when I took them off there. It was okay. So I got a green wire and I got a black wire here. So okay, at least they're color coded, but I didn't think they were. I thought, why would they have 2 black wires? It's just so we don't mix things up when you put it back together. I'm going to detail the engine while I have it apart. I might as well. I'd like to take some of the rust off of those to get that head. Well, I'm going to do one thing at a time. I'm not going to try to time the engine until, so step 1, there's going to be a lot of taking it apart, putting it back together, taking it apart, put it back together. Step 1, clean the IACV valve, this thing here, that little motor, and all the hoses. Clean them all. I might have to remove it, and to do that, step 2, check all my plug gaps. I'm gonna have to find out what I don't have a manual, so I'm gonna have to research what they're supposed to be gapped at. I don't have a way of testing the plugs, so maybe the plugs are just, if I'm lucky, that's all it is. So hopefully it's just something like as simple as the plugs. So far, just to get it to this point was about maybe about 45 minutes to an hour's work. Pack everything in little bags so you don't lose anything. If it's not the plug gaps, I have no way to test it just to see if it's a weak plug. I'm going to see if I can find a way to time it, if that's the next step. So what I'll do is I'll clean up the plugs. As soon as I pull the plugs out of the engine, I'll see if there's, like, if one's fouled or not. That'll tell me something. Fouled is not good. Slightly fouled is normal, but maybe it could be an injector problem. Maybe while I have it apart, maybe, like I say, if I take the week at it, yeah, it sucks to have, you know, a summer week not riding, but rather than pull the bike off the road for the season, that sucks even more. So maybe what I might do is, if I have to, is pull the injectors out, clean them up, put them back in. So clean the injectors, check the gaps of the plugs. I don't have money for new plugs right now. Check the IACV valve boots. I guess that you'd call that a plastic boot or whatever, but those on there to see if any of them are cracked. I can't tell right now from here because I can see them, but I can't tell if they're cracked or not. I got too much stuff in the way. I'm going to do this during better light. And I have to take each one off and inspect them individually. Maybe this motor, these things do suck in a lot of dirt over time, so maybe that's where my problem is. It could be other sensors, it could be a million things. But I'll try that, put it back together. If it runs better, then that's what it was, and it was just tune-up stuff. But see, I got a little bit of sand in the carb there. See that, eh? Carb, sorry. Throttle body. This is my first fuel injection bike, so you might hear terms like carburetor come up quite a bit. That's an awful lot of dirt there. Maybe I'll take that whole thing off and clean it. And just clean everything. Stuff that I should have been able to do during the winter. I thought I was going to get a season, and this is what I was going to be doing at the end of the season, just disassemble the entire bike. Well, maybe not the entire bike, but all that stuff, and just freshen everything up. Well, you can see that, like this number 2 here, I had a hunch number 2 was doing something funky. You see that's pretty dirty in there. Maybe what I did notice, now I don't know if it was like that when I moved it, but maybe the dirt was getting sucked in from the airbox on the side here, because it did seem like it was up a bit. I'll show you what I mean. Like, you got these boots down here, okay, and see that one, the first one's dry, the second one's a little bit dry, the third and the other two are not dry. Strange, very strange. What would that be? Why would those be wet? Is that oil? It's definitely gas. But anyway, yeah, so this is my first adventure in here. Hopefully I can solve all my problems. Hopefully I don't have to pull the bike off the road for the season. And hopefully it's nothing major, so hopefully it's just tune-up stuff. The timing chain and all that stuff, again, I don't have a manual. I'll have to download everything off the internet that I can find. I believe my cam chain is on this side, so it's this here is a pump of some sort. I don't know if that's the coolant pump. I don't think it is. I'll have to track it back. I thought the coolant pump's on your side. Clutch is right here. Clutch is fine. Don't have to worry about the clutch. It's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Doesn't hurt to inspect those things though, but sometimes when you pull things apart, then they start to leak too. But yeah, this is my pump here, so I don't know. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the timing chain and everything is on the other side from what I've seen. So I'll have to take the head off And hopefully I don't have a blown head gasket. But like, I mean, a little bit of seepage around the heads on a 15-year-old bike is not a major thing. But anything is possible too. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I guess I'll have to move the radiator to be able to get the head gasket out. Or will I be able to get that? No, I think I have to loosen up the radiator just enough to pull it out. I think that's what some other guy was doing. So looks like I got a lot of homework to do. I've already been pre-studying for it. So hopefully everything goes well. But this is what it looks like right now. I have a hunch a lot of my problem has something to do with the IACV valve, or it's just going to be a plug problem. So I don't know, guys. I'll try cleaning everything first. Maybe I'll get lucky with that. Then if that doesn't work, the second thing is, I don't know if I can find a way to test the plugs just to see if the plugs are good. Usually you don't get away that easy. Yeah, just change the spark plug and you got a new machine again. I've never been that lucky. Then I guess the last thing I would say is as I take it apart and do stuff, I'll show you step by step. Then this way, if somebody else has to go through this ordeal, they'll have seen me do it and they'll understand what I did and why I did what I did and how I did what I did. And we'll go from there. Now I want to keep these dry, so I'm going to have to get some bags and put them over the stuff. But I want to clean all that out, like all this grunge and stuff like that. Clean bike's an easier bike to work on. So, alright, I think that's all I'm going to do for tonight. So I'm just going to kind of slightly reassemble, cover the throttle bodies. Maybe I'll just put the air box right back on. It takes 2 minutes.